Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Millicent Chimboy, and I am the Ordinary Voices Program Coordinator at Global Youth Forum. And here I'm joined by my assistant, Peter Mwangi, and maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us more about GYF and Ordinary Voices. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ordinary Voices, a platform where change makers, dreamers, and doers from around the globe share their journeys, struggles, and wins in shaping up a better global face. And the Global Youth Forum is doing the same, exact same. We're using one conversation at a time, one program at a time, one work at a time, one person at a time to reach very many other people. That's Global Youth Forum for you. And by the end of this session, we'll have made an impact in the world by not just talking, by being us, by promoting what you're looking for the change you want to see in the world. We're joined by Kipngetich Runi, a visionary founder of Youth to Serve organization. Kipngetich is a firm believer in youth-led change and has constantly championed platforms that nurture leadership, civic engagement, and service among young people. His work is a testament of what happens when purpose meets action. Up next, we have Albright Altisi, a powerhouse of advocacy and a relentless champion for ethical leadership, social transformation, and disability inclusion. As the founder of Lola Crochet Organization and a national youth leader, Albright uses education and creative activism to uplift marginalized communities and build institutions rooted in justice, sustainability, and equity. And last, though she's not around, we have Archie Justin Fallon. She's joining us from Cameroon when she comes. She's a dynamic project manager, a grassroots visionary, and a founder of the Fallon Foundation. Fallon is leading the charge against poverty, inequality, and systemic barriers through transformative campaigns like Street to School and School to Skill, offering education, vocational training, and mental health support for thousands. As project manager of Camfair, she's connected to local students with global opportunities, forging partnerships and organizing large-scale education fairs that have reshaped the region's education landscape. Her voice has graced platforms like DBS TV, calling for peace, justice, and strong institutions. And today, we are honored to hear from her right here at Ordinary Voices. Together with all these change makers, we represent the heartbeat of a community of transformation, a bold, passionate, and unwavering in the pursuit of justice and impact. So, with no further ado, let's dive right into it. Bring on Millicent, our host, the beautiful Millicent, the smile. Welcome you to start the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Peter. And I can see that Arakiza, Caleb is in, Cherotit, Faith is in. Welcome, and maybe you can tell us in the chat section where you are joining us from. And in case at the middle of the conversation, if you have any question, you can just put it in the chat, or you can also raise your hand. And now, let me just introduce the topic of today, whereby we will be discussing eradication of all forms of poverty in Africa by promoting quality industry, innovation, and infrastructure through the creation of peace, justice, and strong institutions. And if I can just maybe talk about our organization at GYF, our main goal is to eradicate poverty in Africa, basically starting from Kenya. And I know that we are different people from different backgrounds, and the way that we define poverty has or his is quite different. Someone may say that poverty is lack of food, lack of the basic commodities. And today there are institutions in our countries, whether you are coming from maybe Arakiza, I know that you're coming from Uganda. Is that right? Okay, we can continue that. how you are going to define it is quite different, and we have institutions which are using their forces to define it or to improve it. And I would like to start the discussion by letting, maybe we can start with Halbright. You can just maybe introduce yourself, the SDG you are most passionate about, the change you want to see in the world, and give a skill whereby you think that your neighbor or a Kenyan youth or an African youth must have. Thank you.
Hi, so my name is Alberta Vitsi. Is that it was just in it was as it was mentioned in the beginning. I'm the founder of Lala Crochet Foundation, and basically my work is what you can all see behind my screen, the crochet artworks. I'm the founder and the director of the Lola Crochet Foundation, and I'm also a social science graduate. And basically, the SDG goal that I'm more passionate about is the SDG number 1, which is no poverty, and also SDG number 5, which is gender equality. I love those two SDGs because I love advocating for inclusive social transformation. Also, I love artwork, so I think like with those two sections, I'm able to intertwine them together, and that's my area of focus, and also in the activism space. So that's what I deal with. And when it comes to the youths, as you said, I can say like I love you dealing with youth activism and youth voices and all that deals with the youth in the society. Yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much for that. And maybe we can just hear the same from Kimgetich Rooney.
I trust you can be able to see me. All right, this is Rooney. I'm the founder and CEO Youth to Serve organization, and very much passionate about the SDG number 1, that is no poverty. And when you talk of no poverty, that is what actually we are talking about today. And it's a big question to each and every one of us today. How are we going to eradicate poverty? And by many chances, we are the ones as young people, we are the ones as youth, and being a member of Global Youth Forum, I think this is what we need today to take as a mantle that we have and bring about change, which are the solutions that we have to eradicate poverty. And in the context of today, we hope that we are going to get to engage more in terms of how infrastructure, development of institutions, which specific kind of institutions are very much equipped even to solve these problems when it comes to poverty. I think after that introduction, I will get to back to you and looking forward even to engage more concerning the context of today. Thank you, and back to you, Millicent, to go.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, you can check the organization that I think was founded by Rooney, and I think is just doing some amazing work. I know that maybe you're on LinkedIn, you can just maybe drop your links, and also you can check the organizations whereby you are representing. And also I can see that Fallon is here. Fallon, can you introduce yourself, the SDG of choice, the change you want to see in the world, and a skill that you think that each and every youth should have?
Okay, hello everybody. I'm called Achi Justance Falongu. The founder of the Falon. I'm most passionate about promoting the SDG 4, promoting quality education in very, very underserved communities, ensuring that every child, no matter who they are, regardless of their background, has equal access to learning opportunities and global opportunities. And I'm sure that is what brought me to the Global Youth Forum, where I could be like an access point for these local students, communities to have access to global opportunities as well. So that's what I'm most passionate about. And I also believe that every young leader should matter irrespective of where they come from, irrespective of their institutions, whether a local institution, whether a very privileged institution, they should matter. They should have a voice as a young leader. And that is why I've been partnering through my foundation, the Fallon Foundation. We've been partnering with other non-governmental organizations, community service organizations, to empower young leaders, train them on leadership skills, and also partnering with corporations, companies, to train young leaders, to give them the opportunities they need. Thank you very much. And I'm from Cameroon as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Fallon. And also you can check on her on LinkedIn and what she's doing at that organization. And now we have two guests who are maybe promoting SDG number 1 and Fallon SDG number 4. And I would like to hear your views on why is it important to address poverty eradication holistically through industrial growth, innovation, peace building, and establishing strong institutions. I will start with Rooney.
Thank you, Mr. Chibot, for giving me this particular chance once again. As you've heard, my name is Ronnie Akipnetich, and I'm an entrepreneur by nature. And when we talk about entrepreneurs, we always focus on the creativity that we all have. And for me, the passionate thing that I have about is eradicating this poverty. And not only Kenyans, but even in other countries that we get to interact with. Those are the things that we actually focus on them. And why is it that we are addressing this poverty holistically? Once again, I'll be able to say that eradicating poverty in Africa requires holistic approach. And why is it that I'm talking about approaching this? Because poverty is multidimensional, and sustainable solutions lie in creating, and sustainable solutions that lie in creating opportunities, not only being people that we rely on employment, but we try to create, not be the captives of employment. So that's the first thing that we are going to talk about. And through this, we are going to focus much on industrial growth, nurturing innovation, and to solve local problems that we have even at the ground level. See, many people even get problems even to provide food, even having to sustain themselves when it comes to education and all that. But even providing food is a little bit a problem. And why is it a problem? You see, people are focusing on getting to interdependence. People have entitled themselves that they should be given.
Rooney, maybe you can try to turn off your camera. Maybe you are breaking.
Not think, or we can just bring this perspective. All right, thank you. Let me hope you are getting it clearly better.
Yes, you can continue here.
All right, thank you. I was talking about in this matter of addressing poverty holistically, I was really focusing much on creation of jobs and how are we going to create jobs and opportunities? It's actually through industrial growth, nurturing innovations to solve local problems that we have, like specifically even providing food. In my organization, we used to serve organization what we happen to realize that we are undergoing as people from Africa is actually even providing for ourselves food. You see, if we have problems even providing food, probably it shows that we are lacking industrial growth and we are lacking innovation when it comes to even bringing out to sustain our lives. We also get to foster in peace and justice to ensure stability. Because you see, the problem that we have right now, most of the people are really willing to innovate, willing to create, but there is this problem that we have, like people have started, even you find the Gen Z is coming in and destroying like everything. Why? It's of the instability that is really happening right here in Africa. Quite a number of countries, and Kenya is actually one of them. I, being a Kenyan, I really pity with our country and what is it that we are going to do this? If actually we get to focus on making ways to bring justice in our country that will bring us stability, which will allow even investors to feel safe even in investing and even creating jobs or creating jobs and even providing what we can be able to do. And finally, building strong institutions to uphold accountability and fairness. Right today, I can be able to tell you without doubt, actually, with clear figure that 75% of the institutions that are running today in Kenya, actually, trust me, the curriculum itself does not allow an individual to sustain himself. Why? The institutions that we have has been preparing individuals to be captives of employment and not to create what to do. But I'm very happy that today we have CBC. CBC is quite a bit of oriented when it comes to creation. And I really like because you do the actual thing and not theories. And so the strong institution that should be developed is actually, I will be focusing on technicals and TVET institutions. Those are the actual institutions that actually bring out the real thing that an individual can be able to do even to sustain him or herself, even without seeking jobs right here and there. Because we have bosses who have been in offices, and since we were born, even to date, we still have the bosses in those offices. So the question is, how are we going to evade this problem? It's about to create and not to depend on employment. Thank you, and back to you, Melissa.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Rooney has raised an important point whereby creating jobs, it's okay. I can be someone, I can create my own job, like, but where are the resources? Where is the capital to start the jobs? And let me hear the same from Albright.
Hi, it's Albright once again. So when it comes to the same question, I can say I can speak from a personal lived experience as a young woman and as a youth and as a person with disability. I can say the first thing that we can do is that we can actually expand. We can work on expanding inclusive economic opportunity. Because I've realized, like in our setup, like for example in Africa and Kenya to be specific, policies are there. Everything has been written down in the books. Everything is there clearly. But when it comes to the ground level, persons with disabilities are not getting the same equal opportunities. Yeah, people prefer hiring the non-disabled people than the marginalized disability persons with disability, and that really irritates me. It irks me. And the other thing is we can actually work on small and medium enterprises. For example, a good example is the fact that I've started Malola Crochet Foundation, which I can just put it together with this program. So under Lola Crochet Foundation, I started it last year, and I saw ever since I graduated in my first graduation, I faced many discrimination when it comes to job opportunities and looking for job. And I was like, non-disabled people are being they're more advantaged. They're taken care of more than us. So I felt like I need to belong in the society, and I do not have to beg because my dignity really matters in the society. I should be able to have the same voices like all the others in the society. So that's what I took the initiative with, and I started my organization, Lola Crochet Foundation, which is being registered. And so basically over here, I train PWDs for free to crochet, not only to crochet, but you can see some artwork behind me and the crochet work. And I really love when we do it together. So basically it's a form of employment that we're working on. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we need the support, the small scale support, and also investing in adaptive technologies, because everybody needs to belong. So we cannot just be saying adaptability is all about inclusive rooms. It's not just about the building and the rooms and these chairs and everything in this office, or let's say if everything in the society. It's all about people being included in the specific reasonable measures in the society. So that's what I believe can be done. And the other thing is having a strong institution and governance. I can say like we can have some better policies changes. It does not just have to be policies that look just like they're just work done in the society, but something that people are following up with it, most especially the government, if I may say. So they can also do that part as we also we give out our inputs into it. And the other thing is intergenerating the SDG number 5, which is the equity and equality on gender, because I believe in a better gender systematic way. I believe like people are supposed to be equal. It should be a 50-50 systematic way. Other people should not have better wages than the others. So in that kind of setup, I believe as a young woman with disability, I believe like I should be able to be paid the same way as other my counterpart male are being paid in the society. As long as we're all doing the same kind of jobs, we're also supposed to have the same level of hierarchy, if I may say. And the other thing is sustained livelihood and economic equity, which basically is building capacity and mentorship. Yeah, people should have strong mentorship opportunities, most especially the marginalized, like us, not only the PWDs, but also the refugees, people like those ones, and people in the more war zone areas. Their voices need to be heard, because everybody really matters in the society, no matter how they look or how they are. So that's what I can insist on. The other thing is peace building and social inclusion, because I'm seeing like when it comes to the African setup, a good example is where there's a lot of war. People are not able to concentrate on the major factors. They're not able like to even do something constructive in the society, So with that kind of setup, we should avoid war as much as possible. But I'm not saying like people should not fight for their rights. Yes, people should fight for their rights, but in a better way, so that we can have a better lively economy. And the other thing is having good leadership and strategies, strong institution, and basically those are it. And also to include on it, we need a better environmental sustainability and climate adaptation, so that we can all be in a more neutral world to improve on how to end our poverty as per se. Yeah, so that's it.
And thank you so much, Albright, for what you are doing. I think after the session, we are going to visit you. And maybe I can hear the same views from Fallon if you are in. Okay, I don't know if she's in. If not, I think we will just continue with the next discussion, whereby infrastructure is often seen as a catalyst for development. What types of infrastructure investments are mostly effective in poverty reduction in Africa? I will just start with Ronnie.
Thank you once again, Millicent. I think that is what we get to discuss each and every other time. When we talk of infrastructure, and we talk of assets that we have that actually brings all about a sustainable environment. And why are we talking about the sustainable environment? Actually, the part of environment is still part of the infrastructure. And the most effective infrastructure investment for poverty reduction actually include the road networks, the rural, actually not even the urban, but the rural road networks, because that is where the factory of production is, to connect producers even to the market, and reliable access to clean energy and even digital connectivity. What am I talking about when I talk of access to clean energy and digital connectivity? Right now, we are talking about networks that we should connect, or networks that we should build. You see, you can't build a network when you cannot even get to connect with anyone online. And what is it that makes you to connect online? You must have assets that really connect you people. If we can't have network even itself, the internet, if we can't have even the offices that opening doors even to education that brings out innovations when it comes to right now we are talking about, we are using a Zoom. You see, these are the things that we actually coming up and asking ourselves when we talk about entrepreneurship. What is this that we need even to run entrepreneurship so well? And infrastructure is the main thing that we are supposed to ask ourselves. What is it that we need even to influence the markets? Because as we are talking, at the personal level, I can be able to speak as an entrepreneur. I get to deal with mostly online, and the problems that we undergo when it comes to doing business online. You see, it's all about network, that is the data. It's all about the apps that can really connect you to the right people. It's all about uh, uh, the, the, the products that you should be able to transact even online. And the assets that we are talking about as infrastructure right here is it that we have an environment that we can really do this, that we trust them. Because right now, as we are talking, we even still have the space that we don't trust that it can be able to serve us. So that is also a problem that we have. And what is it that we can do, even with that problem that we know? Right now, we get, in Kenya right now, we get infrastructure buildings that we actually asking ourselves that when the government gets to invest in the things that are actually different from uh, what we know as producers that we really need. So there are things that we need at the personal level, even to bring about investment or bring about entrepreneurship. But we don't really have these things. And how are we going to do it? It's upon it's upon now the government to give us an environment where we can be able to transact from the rural areas to the markets, because we can't access the markets without even the roads that we actually having. If we can't access the market, then what we are producing is not going to be of essence. Actually, we are going to be producing what is to be consumed. But right now, as entrepreneurs don't produce to consume. They produce so that they can be able to sell. So the big question is, are you able to sell? And who are you going to sell to? Do you have a client? Do you have anywhere online that can be able to connect you to a client? Like I'm asking myself, I'm dealing with a shoe business, and for me to get a customer should know that Rooney sells shoe. And how is the customer going to know that Rooney sells a shoe? I have to be good in marketing. Do I have platforms that I can market my products? Those are the questions that I ask myself. So those are the basic things that we really get to ask ourselves. Do we have actually the assets that can help us, or that can be able to assist us to make our work easy as entrepreneurs, even as we get thrive in this business? So those are the things that we are asking ourselves when it comes to infrastructure investment. Thank you so much, and back to you. I'm listening to you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Rooney, for just maybe talking about the road networks. especially in our rural areas, and the internet connectivity that maybe like we could be having some jobs there, the digital jobs, but it is what it is. And now let me go to Albright. Maybe may you just give us your views.
Okay. So my views when it comes to the effective infrastructure, I can say we can actually give priority to art-based infrastructures through the digital marketing spaces, because I believe with creativity, people can be able to sustain their lives, and through it, people can be able to eradicate poverty. And the other thing is with the fact that not only with the fact that it's a free world, it's a free space, as if I may say, and with artwork and better health infrastructure and something to do with that, I can say like it gives people the freedom to express themselves, not only to express themselves, but also to heal. So it's one of the main reasons, or one of the major reasons that I can concentrate on, because that's what I have my experience on, and I can actually urge people to try it out, most especially things to do with crocheting, painting, artwork. Yeah, so basically that's what I'm focusing on majorly.
Okay, thank you. Albright is all about the digital marketing, maybe on TikTok, on the websites, and so on. I think we are at the center or the middle of the conversation, and I would like to maybe invite Peter and Arakiza. Maybe you can give us some views on the same. Okay, I think they just Peter, if you can hear me, Peter Mwangi. And due to that, I think we can just continue with our conversation. And I think today we are experiencing a low turnout, just because the session is always on the last Sunday of each month. And last weekend we had the tournament, and we had to just push it to today. And also there are those who are joining us live on YouTube. You can just maybe put your comment a question so that you can be able to see it. And let's just continue with the next discussion question, where my what way
And mute.
sorry for that. Okay, let's go to our next discussion question, which is what ways, or just give us one or two ways that we can use to ensure that women, youth, and the marginalized communities are all put together, or we ensure that they will come together in the decision making and implementation of industry innovation and infrastructure development in Kenya and basically in Africa. I will start with Albright.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to women, youth, and persons with disability, and the refugees and all the marginalized in the society, I can say the first way is we can actually have a better established participatory governance, because I believe ever since we started the conversation, I said like I believe in equality. So I believe that through the fairness, everybody should be in the table. Others should not be in the high table, others in the low table, while others are feeding in the chicken. Everybody should have the part of the chicken. Everybody should be in the table participatory action. Nobody should be left behind. The other thing is strengthening a grassroots network to amplify the voices of all in the society. So since people in the youth, women, marginalized, all the people in the society have their own ways of thinking and their own ways of surviving, I also believe like with a good chance. They should not just wait to be given. They can also take the chance. They can lead, and through that, they can be able to solve their problems on their own, our problems on our own, instead of waiting for others to give us the way forward. So I believe through the grassroots level, communication, collaboration, cooperation, connecting, intergenerating all the kind of ages, genders, we can all just mix up together. We can all amplify our voices together through the participatory action and the collaboration. Yeah, those are my 2 points.
Okay, thank you so much, Albright. And she's basically talking about the equality that we should all be able to sit together in a table and give out our decisions. And let's hear the same from Ronnie.
All right, thanks once again. I think this is where now we come in as young people, and what are we asking ourselves when it comes to inclusion of women, inclusion of youth, and the marginalized groups? You see, I fit into this space as a young person. Now, as a young person, I get to ask myself, what is it that I have not been given a chance to do this, or is it that I myself that I have been able to lie or lie to myself that I can't do this. And that is where Youth to Serve organization came in. I get to ask myself if I can do this as a young person, I can be able to influence or I can be able to bring about young people with bright minds to bring about change. Because right there we have young women, we have people from marginalized groups, actually the people that came from families that actually depended on like to be fed in everything, including even the basic needs. But right now they are being able to empower themselves and get to know their space, and actually they are getting to fight for those people again that are where they were before, and get to tell them that actually it is very much possible if at all you have got positivity in terms of your mindset. And this is where we get to ask ourselves, we can be able to ensure inclusive participation. How? And the question is how. Now we get to mandating gender and youth quotas in policies and development committees. You see, given a chance even to serve the country, you see, we have got a space as young people to get to be able to be given a chance even to be part of the committees that get to present the policies. And actually, when it comes to it, it's about forming the policies, not only implementing, but from the grassroots level, getting to know what is this policy that is being passed. Like, for example, getting to know about the financial bill even before or after, and realize that things have been implemented, and we are just being given a chance to see whether what has been implemented is good or bad. So that is where the problems comes in. We should be given a chance to even find ourselves on the tables to make a decision whether what is going to be formed or what is it that we have as young people that we want to be included even in that perspective to make a difference. So that is the first thing. Number two, talking of establishment of local innovation hubs and capacity building programs that empower the underrepresented groups to co-create and implement solutions. This is what I like most when it comes to local innovation hubs and actually capacity building programs that get to empower the people that from the marginalized groups, that you can be able to know that for you yourself, you can be able to bring out change even at the grassroots level from yourself. From the area that you think that you cannot be able to do, actually when we have resources like innovation hubs. You see, innovation hubs get to trigger the minds of young people and those people that have got less resources. I don't know whether you are aware about this. I got to do some research as Youth to Serve organization. We have a docket of public policy and research. You see, when we talk of public policy and research, as Youth to Serve organization, we get to ask ourselves that who are the people that really get to create and who are the people to to co-create. And there was one thing that was coming out of all this. We get to see that the people from marginalized groups, or the people that actually have less resources, are the ones that are very much creative, and they can be able to bring out something that is very valuable, even unlike those people who access those enough resources to do things and all that. So if we can be able to bring these hubs to these marginalized groups, actually because of the experiences that they have, the circumstances that we have been able to go through, actually, trust me, they can be able to bring about something that is best and actually be the best solution even to the world. Thank you so much, and back to you, Melissa.
Thank you so much for that point. And Rooney is basically saying that we are not yet on the table with the decision makers, and we need support, or maybe just to reach there to give out our decisions. And I can see that there is a question on the chat section whereby someone is asking online, what is the major cause of poverty in Africa, and what one thing the youth can do to eradicate it? Anyone can answer? Okay, Albright, you can go.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to poverty in Africa, one of the major causes of it is the historical legacies of colonialism. So due to the past experience of colonialism that happened, people, if I may say, most of the leaders think that it is still okay to continue the neo-colonialism, and that is one of the main key issues. The other thing is weak governance and corruption. So some leaders are there in the seat just for their personal gains, which is really failing us. And also the conflict and political instabilities in some African countries are leading into it. So what youths can do to eradicate it, basically, they can work on, we as youths, we can stand up together, we can build a better generational way to end the neo-colonialism that is being passed down to us. We can stop, we can stop that generational curse, if I may say. The other thing is we can work on bringing us together to have a better equity. And the other thing is we can have better policies, if I may say, and also through what we are doing over here, which is a good discussion. Discussions like this can open our minds. So we need to unlock our minds, if I may say. We should not just be stagnant in the past, and that's the way we can end the poverty together. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And I can see that Fallon is in. Maybe you can just maybe answer that question. I don't know if you can hear us, or you can hear me. And I think that she's having some internet issues, and we will just continue. And next we will be discussing like what are your top three, you just name them, top three recommendations for African countries looking to accelerate poverty eradication through these strategies. Ronnie, you can go first.
All right, thank you once again, Millicent Chebo. And the top, the three recommendations for African country, you see, the first one is what I'll be able to talk about, and just a follow-up from what my colleague has been able to mention, Albright, that we still have the colonialism mindset. The colonial mindset that we still have is what is bringing about all these problems. If we get to get to a bit from this, trust me, I think this is what we are going to find a difference. And for this, I'll be able to give one or two things. That is the first one, get to invest in accessible and sustainable infrastructure with a focus on green technology. And number two, strengthening institutions to support transparency, legal reforms, and inclusive governance. Number three, so that I can be able to elaborate on this, is to foster public-private partnerships that fund innovation and scale local industries. I'll start from the last one, that is to foster public to private partnership that fund innovation and scale local industries. For this case, you see, if we are not going to maybe have a partnership, or if we are not going to have the two sectors actually working together, then we are going to have a barrier. And when we have a barrier, neither public or private is going to prosper. So for us to make things right, we just have to have public and private sectors working together. For this, we are going to have actually substantive innovations and actually scaling the local industries, which the government, the public itself cannot be able to do it. The private can be able to do it better. What private is not able to do it, public may be able to do it better. So those are the questions that we ask ourselves. And then the second one talks of strengthening institutions to support transparency, legal reforms, and inclusive governance. For this case, I have been able to talk about TVET institutions. Those are the ones that are actually coming up to take even the space of the universities. Why? Right now, we are talking about universities taking the space for the theory teaching. And when it comes to life, for this case, actually, those are the things that we really lack where to maybe exercise what we've been able to learn. But now, talking about institutions like TVET and our technical institutions actually teaching exact skill that you really need outside here to work on making yourself better. And by doing this, you see, you get to give me a skill that actually I'm going to practice it by myself. I don't need any supervision. I don't need any space to be given. I don't need any employment or to seek any employment so that I can be able to do this. So those are the things that we are supposed to ask ourselves, that it's not all about we are supposed to just feed our minds with the theories and all that, but what is it that we are going to ask ourselves that is the theory that we have been able to learn from these powerful institutions. Like we have quite a number of universities that are regarded to be of high regard and importance. Are these people coming from these universities actually coming to bring solutions even in the ground level? Because if you don't get to bring solutions, if you are not a solution provider, then trust me, what you have as a degree does not is not actually of essence. And the last one comes in that invest in accessible and sustainable infrastructure that we talk about, focus on green technology. And we are talking of green technology, we are talking about, you see, earlier on, we have been talking about the government maybe creating roads even to the local areas or the rural areas. You see, those are the things that actually we're doing earlier on, because right now, as we are talking, we can be able even to market your products from the farm and get to have maybe investors get to have a market from the online platform. You see, those are things that we get to ask ourselves, how are we going to digitize these all things? Because where we are heading to, trust me, even what we are talking about roads and all that, the transaction is not going to be basically on such things, but much majorly online. So those are the areas that we should focus on. And I think from that point, we are going to have a different Africa. Thank you, and back to you, Ms. Sentimo.
Okay, thank you for those amazing points. And Albright, you can give us your 3 recommendations.
Okay, I'm going to list my 3 recommendations as you just requested. The first one is we can actually invest in gender responsive and industrialized policies that empower everybody in the society, most especially the marginalized. The other thing is we can do things to do with promoting sustainable creative economies that match art, technology, and social impact, most especially the health impact, economic impact, and empowerment, and job creation, sustainability, and all that deals with it. And the other thing is that we can actually we can strengthen institutional framework to support inclusive entrepreneurship and innovation, because through the innovation process, everybody can find the way to maneuver around or the way to survive. So those are my 3 points. I've just listed them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Albright. And I will just maybe go to the last discussion question, and then we will do a quick question and answer session. Imagine you are the president, which means you are Ruto or William Ruto. What policy changes or government intervention do you believe are most critical for linking poverty eradication with sustainable industrial growth? You can just give 1 or 2 policies. Rooney, you can go.
Thank you once again, Vincent Chebor. I think as William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, given a chance to sit on that desk or on that chair, I think it's going to be an amazing, amazing moment, which I assume that someday I will sit on that chair. So it's just a matter of time. The difference between me and him is just a matter of time. And I get to go ahead in the context that for me as a president, what am I going to do? For me, the aspect what I'm going to do today is actually prioritizing the aspect of production. You see, when we get to prioritize the policy that actually incentivize, bringing incentive in local production and actually the tech innovation, that is where the major things that we need to bring about change, and it's going to revolve around and bring about solutions of what we actually undergo through. And actually, the second thing that comes in is getting to ensure that infrastructure within all the regions in Kenya, from southern to northern, from what we call the rifts, we call the mountain, and all those areas that we are talking about. We are talking about we should be able to do all these at an equitable. It should be equity, and we are talking about equity and equality. Talking about equity and equality, we are talking about getting to maybe spend what is equal in each and every sector, that each and every one of us is going to see that these things have been done. You see, it's not all about proving to people that you are doing this, but actually, are you bringing about solving problems? It's not all about getting to show people that you have done this, but actually let the people tell you that actually you are bringing solutions to us. And the last thing that actually is very much important is talking about the youth of today. You see, the kind of Gen Z that we have today is actually an asset or a resource. And how are we going to use a Gen Z as a resource? Because many people get to see Gen Z as an aspect of danger, but we are proving it wrong, that if we get to have to use the energy of the Gen Z right and get to have women participate in this industrial policy formulation and implementation, as I talked earlier about this, we should be given a chance when it comes to formulation of policy. We don't have to be just given a chance in terms of implementation of what we were not part of formulation. When we are given the best when it comes to creativity and innovation, that is going to bring about change in industrial policy. Thank you so much, and back to you, Madam Millicent Roy.
Thank you so much, Rooney. And Albright, if you are the William Ruto of today, tell us your policies.
Okay, if I was the William Ruto, if I was to meet, or if I was the William Ruto, kindly pardon.
Yeah, the same. You are the president, like you are sitting at that position as the president of Kenya.
Okay, thank you. So if I was the president, I'll actually make sure the implementations are taken into consideration, most especially the ones that deals with youths. And a good example is the Gen Zs, because I've actually realized people think like all Gen Zs are radicalized, or some people think like we have a certain mentality, or some people think like Gen Zs are lazy people, if I may say. Other things we like to yap yap. That literally is not true. So if I was the president, I will make sure the youth policies are being taken into consideration, and also our economic strategies. I can also insist on uplifting economic decision makings, and also I can ensure equitable access to funding and resources for all the people in the society into a more simplified way, if I may say. Yeah, those are the 2 points that I wanted to say.
And maybe I'm worried. No one is saying that if I were the president, the only thing I could be doing is hearing what the citizens are saying. That's just according to my views. And in this discussion, we have Arakiza, Caleb. You can tell us, if you are the president of your country, name one policy. You can unmute.
Yeah, thank you very much. If I am like a president of Uganda, the one policy which can be put in place, especially to curb the issue of poverty, is that I can call upon the citizens or the members, the people who belong to the country, especially to engage in some activities. And those activities can include agriculture. And when we talk of agriculture, they can engage in like modernized way of agriculture. And through
I think you have some internet connection
doing
issues.
such, this can of the happening within a press. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Arakiza is talking about agriculture. And Rose, maybe you can just give us your policy if you are the president of Kenya. Rose, if you can hear me.
Unmute.
Okay, sorry. Peter Mwangi, you can give us your policy if you are the president of Kenya.
Well, wow. I'll echo. I'll
Okay.
want to echo what 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 Rooney has said. But to add on that, I'm just saying, when you choose to be a leader, you have to have your own ideas on what you're doing. And my own idea is maybe, just maybe, localize projects to their own people. For example, if I'm building a road here, let's say I live in Nairobi or Kampala. If I'm building a road, what will I do? To empower the community around. In building projects Kunata Mkono, these people will always be there. It's easier to build the people who are around there than to go outside and look for other people to do the work. So if actually I was a president or a leader of that stature, I will actually put they are called hubs or something of the sort, where we'll have people who are doing a particular course or a particular thing together, so that they can develop community together. You cannot bring somebody who doesn't know my problems to me. In terms of students in universities, in terms of work, and skilled labor, I feel like that's what I will do, honestly. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And maybe Rooney, you can answer this question on the chat, which says that holding other factors constant, how can the issue of corruption be stopped without engaging the politics and government?
Thank you once again, Wilson, for this question. Actually, this is the important question that we should ask ourselves as citizens. Holding other factors constant, how can the issue of corruption be stopped without engaging in the politics and government? Do you know that actually the main cause of corruption is us as citizens? You see, if we talked about that corruption, you see, we have done corruption to an extent that it's a norm. We no longer call it corruption. Nowadays, we have spicy names and trying to at least sugarcoat what actually corruption is. So it is upon us as citizens to see our ways of operation. Because you see, if I am a citizen that I'm rightly doing something, there's no way or there's nothing that is going to make me to find myself having engaged in corruption. Like, for example, when I'm driving, I don't have a license and I am a citizen. What do I expect if I don't want to go to the court or I don't want to go to police station? I just have to do something. So those are the questions that we are asking ourselves. Are we ready as citizens to stop this? Because the main cause as citizens, because even as we are talking about, the government itself cannot handle corruption or cannot come about corruption, cannot do corruption by themselves. They have to work with the citizens so that corruption can occur. And this is very true. Even at the personal level, you yourself as a citizen, you are an ambassador of corruption, and you are trying and you are making us to answer a question that how can we stop this, and yet you to have an observable or responsive ways to handle our sustainability in our daily lives that will evade us from this finding ourselves as victims and culprits of corruption.
Okay, thank you so much. We have less than 2 minutes. Maybe you can just give us a call to action, only a sentence, please. I will start with Albright.
Okay, a call to action, I can say embrace creative activism, activism as a tool for systematic change, art, innovation, and inclusive leadership to dismantle the bad society that we are in as for now.
Thank you so much. Rooney.
Wow, thank you once again, Millicent. And this being my last, and the call of action that we are supposed to do this. I will be able just to mention about this. Let's all remember that lasting change begins with bold action. Let's
I think Rooney is
where
having some
poverty
internet.
is history.
Okay, I think Rooney, you have some internet issues on your hand. And I would like to thank you, each and every person who has joined the session today. And we have a low turnout because I think last week was the last Sunday of the month, and the session was supposed to be on around 25th, and we had a tournament. You can check it out, and that's the reason. And to be considered a guest, I think we always advertise on our LinkedIn, whereby you will register, and for next month we will be discussing partnership for the protection and conservation of Mother Nature in Africa. If you want to be a speaker or a participant, you can reach out. Thank you so much.